Hello and welcome here to the Nurburgring as we get ready and get set to go racing in the Toyota GR86s for a non-championship round event here today as we take a break from the legends and we see what these wonderful machines have to offer us here today as we are going out for the first time in these wonderful little cars. Of course, what that does mean is drivers have something they need to get used to ahead of today's races, and a lot of drivers jumping in onto the track for the first time here. So it is going to be putting drivers together that have not raced before. A lot of familiar names, so coming into this evening session as well. So a lot of familiarity with our drivers at the same point as well. What an amazing event we have lined up for you tonight then as we prepare for this one. We head around the Nurburgring GP circuit, but we aren't running the full circuit. No, we are running the Kurzenbindung layout without the arena. So we cut off through turns number 1 and 2. We don't go into the arena and we cut through where they run in the endurance races. We then do the short pass through turn number 3 instead of heading down to the south end of the circuit, and at that point we loop back across onto the GP layout. We do have the main chicane though with our turns 7 and 8 that we are going to be looking at. That will be a great overtaking opportunity, especially in these Toyotas. The session then, we are going to be running the same sessions as we'd expect in the Legends. We're just running it in the Toyotas today. That means that drivers have had an hour practice. They're in the final moments of those practice sessions now in the background here. We then head into what will be an open qualifying session of about 15 minutes for drivers to get their laps in and see where they can start for race number 1, because race number 1, 11 laps, is set by the results of qualifying. Race number 2 then, also an 11-lap race. It is going to be set with your race 1 results, but the top 15 drivers are going to be reversed. And then race number 3 is going to be 17 laps. It's our longer race at the very end of the day, and it is going to see the race 2 results gridded up, but with a complete inverted grid. As long as the driver is on the lead lap or 1 lap down, they will be included in that invert. Any drivers more than 1 lap down will not be a part of that inverted grid. So welcome here to the commentary booth for the first time tonight. I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful evening. I certainly am here as we get ready to watch these Toyotas go out. And looking over on our chat wall there, we've got over on Twitch, we have John. Good evening, John, over there. Let's go indeed. This is going to be a great evening's races with the Toyotas. And George over there on YouTube as well. Welcome in. Now then, this event itself, it is a one-off non-championship league event, which means that there are no championship points on offer. It's all about the enjoyment and the just having fun out there for our drivers, and I'm sure that's what it's going to be for all of them, as we have over 20 drivers in the session right now and more just popping in towards the end of this practice session ahead of the qualifying session tonight then. And of course, this does mean that we are not running the Legends around here today, so that championship currently on pause, but don't worry about that. We'll talk more about that in the future weeks. But this now is going to be an absolutely fantastic event. A lot of names in here that have not jumped into the side series, whether that's the Mazdas or the Legends so far. We've got Benji out there, and Benji McCluskey up in second place in this practice session at the moment. We got Jack Brown out there putting in some laps as well. Dan Cross, Robert Savage, Jono Watkins. A lot of names, again, like I said, have not taken part in these side series before at NXTGEN. But then also our familiar names. We've got Adam Delmont. He's the fastest in this practice session at the moment. You've got Fraser Rostance. He takes part in the NXTCC as well. You've got Mark Sykes, Jonathan Berry. You've got Mark Hughes. Of course, you've got Jamie Dory. Lots of names we're familiar with. As I continue to have a look there, Lewis Mason wishing he could race tonight. Unfortunately, can't. That's a real shame because it is going to be a really great race today. That is for certain. And Roger and Angie over on the Facebook as well. Good evening to you guys. Now then, we are within the next 10 minutes going to be getting ready for this qualifying session. So what are we going to expect here? Well, the weather. It isn't going to be great. In fact, let's go down onto the circuit here because as you can see, there is a little bit of spray. Well, you can't now because there's no cars driving past. But what you will see in a moment is there is spray out there on the circuit. And we'll see if we can get a driver who is running around and can show us that spray. Look at that. It is wet out there in this practice session. I'm not making it up, I swear. So drivers are going to have to get used to not only a new car, but these are challenging conditions out there as well. In these wet conditions, drivers on the wet compounder tyre, of course, trying to see what sort of lap times they can put in. Now, it's going to be these sort of conditions across most of the evening here tonight. It is going to be wet in qualifying and the first of the two races. However, there's very slim chance of rain in race number 3. We could see it start damp and then start to dry up as the evening goes on and the race goes on. But we shall have to see what sort of strategy calls drivers are going to be making on the tyres at the end of this one. But right now, as practice is going on over on the iRacing service, of course, it means drivers are just right now trying to see where can they make those positions. And you see a lot of standing water around this circuit, particularly on the edges, by the curbing there, and that is going to make it very challenging for racing overtakes to be done. However, these cars, they are forgiving. You are able to push them a little bit further than you'd normally want to there, and that you would other cars as well, as we just tried to sort out the audio levels. Yeah, this is going to be a really great evening of racing in these cars with the weather conditions as well to mix into it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. That is for certain. I was sat watching the practice session yesterday. There was a few cars out on chat that decided to get together to see what the Toyota GR86s were like and see if we'd run them today. And I was just watching it on a stream in Discord, and it was entertaining from my perspective, and I was just watching someone else drive. So let's see how we can go from the broadcast booth here as we watch everyone get around the circuit. Now, one thing that I don't like about this track is that cut through, because the iRacing cameras absolutely hate it. The GR86 is a brilliant car indeed, you are right, and of course recently updated on the iRacing service as well. We should remember it was updated at the beginning of the iRacing season, and it meant that drivers might not even be used to this version of the car anymore, because me, for one, I still haven't driven the GR86 since it was put into, since it was updated and improved. Well, I say improved. It was made faster. I would say improved as well. It is a very popular car now. In fact, it's become more popular than the Mazdas, especially in series that sees both of them, such as in the PCC. You would see the Toyotas fill up much more than the Mazdas now, so it is a very popular car. But that does not mean all our drivers have gone out there and done any laps in them. They are now getting in that practice out there, but as I look around, some drivers are risking trying to see what it looks like here in these conditions. And Jono Watkins, who we're looking at here, he's just heading out onto the track. He's on dry tyres. He's thinking, okay, well, let's see what it's going to do. Let's see what sort of conditions we have out there. It's not raining anymore. It was raining about 15 minutes ago, but as you can see in the background there, these conditions are not great for dry tyres. There are definitely wet conditions out there at the moment, as we still see more names piling into this server, which is absolutely great. We have a nice big field going to be heading out in these Toyota GR86s today. We've got about 5 more minutes left on the clock at the moment, and no matter where you are watching this from, I hope you are having a fantastic evening. And if you're watching this over on the Facebook, then making sure that you've followed the Next Gen's Facebook page, you've hit like on this stream, you've shared the stream with your friends and family as well to make sure they're all getting on and watching. If you're watching over on the YouTube, then making sure that you've hit that subscribe button to the Next Gen Racing's YouTube channel, and you've hit that thumbs up button as well, so that you are showing your support to the Next Gen series. And of course, if you're watching the unofficial broadcast over on the Twitch as well, make sure that you've hit the follow button to make sure that you're notified whenever we go live over there as well. Right then, let's have a jump down then again back onto the track here and see what's going on, because there are a lot of cars that are just having a few momentary issues out there. There are some drivers who are just getting out and they haven't got a lap time in yet. This is Alan McCain going around at the moment to see if he's able to do anything with this car. Of course, McCain has taken part in a number of these side leagues. We've seen him in the Mazdas. We've seen him in the Legends. Let's see what he can do here in the Toyotas today. The man still fastest in this session is Adam Delmont, as McCain goes deep at the chicane. Very easy to do that through the Vidal chicane. It is very heavy on the brakes and these wet conditions as well. No traction control on these cars, which means that they are having to work with the car a little bit more. It's not supporting them as much as the car when it has the traction control. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on out there at the moment. And some other familiar names towards the top there that we've seen. Well, we've got Adam Wilson-Weir. He's currently 6th fastest in this practice session at the moment. He won the Mazda race last season, of course, so he is quick out there. Can he repeat that sort of feat today? Now, one thing that will be different today than our normal broadcast is you might see that our driver names there of Alan McCain is not a coloured background of white or black. There are no classes out there today. If for any reason you see a name with a P or a PA, it's simply because we are using the league session, and therefore it's picked up on the name, and I have not added them to my driver file to change and get rid of that P or PA. But we aren't running any classes here today because there are no championship points on offer. It is simply we are heading out there to see what sort of entertainment we can get out of the Toyota GR86s, and I know for sure we are going to get some great entertainment out of these cars, as we've got about 2.5 minutes left in this practice session, and then we are going to be getting ready for our qualifying session. Now, like I said, our first race of the day is going to be set by that qualifying order. It is going to be 11 laps of asking, and of course, as always here at Next Gen, we do have our safety car out there as well. So he has already been putting in some laps, making sure that he's comfortable out in these conditions as well, just in case he is called out during any of the 3 races. And I think in conditions like this, in cars that we've not raced in this league before, at Next Gen before, then it is something that we are going to be interested to see how that might go, and I think we are going to see some safety cars out there as we watch some more drivers out here, and we will indeed head across to Adrian Ruiz Hernandez here, running around in P20 in the session, putting in some laps at the moment. That is actually, yes, that is 20th. It's 21st on my standings. On my timing screen, because the safety car is the fastest of the drivers out there. Of course, he's not racing in this event. He is just there to support and put in the lap times. Now then, as we head up towards the end of practice, we prepare to go racing for the first time. And if you are only just joining us as we watch Adrian spin around there, if you are watching us for the, well, just joining us and you missed the beginning of this one, then what you might want to know is how this event is going to work. And there we are. We have got a great event coming your way with our open qualifying about to begin. We then have 2 11-lapped races and a 17-lapped race, with our reversed order in race number 2 being your top 15. And race number 3, a full reversed grid as well. So it is going to be an interesting one for our drivers out there. That is for sure, as we just watched the end of this practice session here. around the Nurburgring circuit. We've got about 30 seconds left in this session, and drivers will just be having that one last test of the conditions before we head across into qualifying and see what they're able to do, what lap times they are able to put in, and see how far up the order they can get. Of course, the times that I'm seeing on our timing board right now, most of them were set in dry conditions. So you can't really say there as we watch Ned Wharton crash into a wall. We can't really say right now what positions everyone actually is going to be in, because half the field weren't able to set any dry times at all. Our drivers are now going to be heading out with the same conditions. You can see it's still wet out there. 15 minutes on the qualifying board here. We are about to go green around the Nurburgring circuit for qualifying here. And in fact, we are heading out now for the start of qualifying. And we watch Fraser Rostance head out of the pit lane and up towards turn number 1. He's one of the first to come out of pit lane, but there are a huge number of drivers all escaping the pit road and seeing if they can find some space around there, as our track map is in the wrong position and not working again. Excellent news for our track map. We will see if we can fix that for a little bit later as we watch Rostance do the cut through there, and our cameras decide, I don't know where exactly on the circuit he is, so they do their little bit of a jump around. We'll try to hope that he doesn't do that. As we head up now through turn number, this is 4 and then into 5. Of course, as we head up towards the back end of the circuit, a nice quick visit around this lap because of us skipping the arena, skipping the south part of the course, just being up here at the top part of the course that links up very closely to the Nordschleife, of course. We then take the Vidal chicane, heavy on the brakes here. Let's go on board with the man of the hour, Jamie Dorey here. Let's see a lap of the Nurburgring circuit. We head into the final turn here. A lot of water on the inside of that curb, so you're going to want to be careful through the final turn. A lot of standing water along the straight here as well, but we come down the start-finish straight on board with Jamie Dorey. He moves over to the right-hand side there, potentially to pick up a little bit of water just to cool his tyres down. He'll get hard onto the brakes for turn number 1 of the Yokohama S. Of course, we cut off to the left here, not going through the arena. That is a very tight entrance, a big old slide on the rear end from Dorey, but that is a very tight run through there. It is going to be extremely difficult to go 2-3 wide there on the opening laps, but I'm sure they are going to try it. We go into turn number 3, cut through the cut off there onto the short layout here. Up towards turn number 4 of Ravenel curve. Again, gets close to that inside where the water is standing. Doesn't quite touch the curbing, which is exactly what you want to do into the Bilstein curve of turn 5. You can push it out over the curbing on the exit, though. No standing water there, which means you're going to get your grip as no matter how wide you push. You don't want to go all the way to the inside through Ad Van Bogen of 6 because you do have the standing water at that inside apex. Heavy on the brakes about the 100-meter board there for the Vidal chicane onto turn 7 and 8. Yes, there is standing water, but you still want to take the apexes. It's the quickest way through that chicane no matter what. Over the runoff on the left-hand side there as we enter into the Hyundai curve of turn number 9. Gets it close to that water puddle on the inside, but leaves it just enough room that he can put the power down and head up towards the timing line. And that is a lap of the Nürburgring circuit that we are going to be running here today. Benji Mikulski is the fastest man out there right now with a time on the board as we start to see more lap times appearing. I hope for some reason we're seeing a mixture of names appearing and not appearing. We will see if we can get that one sorted and see if we can get everyone's name appearing on our standings on the left-hand side. But it is Adam Delmont who is the fastest at the moment. It says Jack Pittas, and my timing screen, Pittas hasn't even put a lap time. So my timing screen and the overlays aren't even matching up at the moment. It looks like my overlays are correct and my timing screen is what is behind here, which is strange. I've never had an issue with my timing screen before, but it certainly looks like it is playing some tricks on me right now. So we'll ignore that. If I'm actually looking at the overlay itself as well, the timer is counting wrong. So I think we've got some issues with our overlay here at the moment. We do apologise for that. Hopefully it will sort itself out as more drivers start to put some lap times in and everyone gets their name onto the board. As we watched Jamie Dory almost complete another lap there. We've got Sammy Uribe here. He's running around in 18th position at the moment in the 99 machine. He was the slowest of those that put lap time in. That now goes to where Jono Watkins behind. But, of course, drivers just getting in some base laps early doors here. Of course, in practice, if they were getting bump drafted, if they were running onto the graph and getting an off track, their lap time still counted. A 0x will invalidate your lap time in a qualifying session, so you don't want to be getting any off tracks, and if you do, that is going to be your lap time done until you can get started on another one. And in these wet conditions, about 1.5 minutes to complete a lap means that our drivers are just trying to nurse their cars around at the moment as we come out of the final turn and up towards the timing line we go. Across the timing line we go for Sammy Uribe. And is it going to be an improvement on his personal best lap time on that one? A massive improvement on his personal best lap time, a 38 to a 34, but it doesn't move him up any positions at the moment. We now head across to Wojciech, who sits in P number 8 at the moment, running around about 0.2, or just under 0.2 of a second off of Pittas, who is currently on provisional pole. The top 5 drivers separated by 1/10 of a second, which really is not a lot around a track like this. It is 1.5 minutes. That's your average lap time for racing tracks. That's, I mean, most tracks are about 1.5 minutes. So the fact that these drivers are running 1.5 minutes and yet the top 5 are all doing times within 1/10 of a second, it's showing you how tight it is out there at the moment, as it looks like Jamie Dory went pole for a moment. Then Adam Delmont, we're just waiting for lap times to update on the left-hand side. Again, we do apologise for the delay in our overlays here, and we'll see if we can get them fixed. Freddie, well, do you know what? We'll see if we can get them fixed now, as we'll go and have a look at Dan Cross running around at the moment. Let me see if we can fix our overlays as we are heading around here to see if we can stop this issue occurring. There we go. As we watch Dan Cross, we lose our overlays for just a moment, but we will look at getting them back as soon as possible. We're just, as you can hear in the background, getting things reloaded again as we watch. As you haven't lost your overlays, but they are not updating, that is for sure. So we apologise. We'll get this all sorted in just a moment's time, and hopefully everything will be working. But that is not something drivers who have not put a lap time in yet would want to see. A little bit of a rain fall there. Just a small amount of rain falling, as we see a car spinning in the background there. It restarts again. We knew the rain was going to be coming and going as we watch this, as for some reason I've now broken everything that's going on with our overlays, which are excellent. We might have actually just lost all overlays today, which has never happened, because they have decided to be completely broken. I don't know what's going on here with our overlay system, so we do apologise whilst we try to give this one a bit of a fix at the moment. But we continue to watch Dan Cross. He comes through the final corner here and heading around the lap at the moment. If our overlays are broken, it might just have to be a spoken word commentary until I can get it fixed. I can definitely get some... we can get some cameras sorted in a moment, even if the overlays are deciding to be a little bit broken. Yeah, it looks like for some reason it has... I've lost some of my details here, which is absolutely excellent as we continue to head around on this session at the moment. I do apologize for everything that is going on as we try to fix our issues, and it just looks like it might be a complete issue with this one entirely. Which is fantastic. We might not have overlays for this one. Apologies for that. If this is the case, we might have just lost them with our system. As I am just trying to figure things out, we will continue to watch here as I just try to sort these out. Aha. We do apologise for the issues that we have been having here, but I think we have got most of them fixed. We are just trying to get the last of it sorted up and loaded here. Occasionally these things do happen. Fortunately, it's happening qualifying, which means that we have been able to get a work done whilst we've been watching what was Ben Oucher getting in some laps there. We are just waiting for one last moment to try and get things up and loaded. But with that being said, we are almost ready to get into qualifying here with our session. Which means that we are going to have a look at our grid order in just one moment's time, with drivers just finishing up on their final couple of laps here. But it has been a very stop-and-start rainy session, and it does mean that not too many improvements towards the end of this time, laps. But that is okay, because we do have now our grid that I can see on the right-hand side with about 1 minute left to go in this session. Let's see if anyone else is out there. There certainly is. This is George Stone. And let's give this one last go with our overlays. And if our overlays are still not going to be working here, then we do apologise. We will have to run without overlays for race number 1. But I will do my best as a commentator to call out where people are, if I am able to. At the moment, though, is Wojciech at the front of the field ahead of Adam Delmont. Ben Oucher was able to get up into 3rd position with his time, so he is running pretty quickly out there as well. That is what is going to look like be the end of the qualifying session there. And as we say that, it does look like we do have overlays once more, which is excellent news. We'll just get the overlays sorted there, and hopefully we can get them up for you. That is not what I wanted, and that's what I needed there. Hopefully we can get this sorted as well, and there we go. Right, let's hope this is all working. So let's have a little look at our qualifying grid then for the first race of the day here. Again, apologies we weren't quite able to have a look at the qualifying session there, but we should have all of our overlays up and working now. We've got Wojciech at the very front of the field, starting this one on pole position ahead of Adam Delmont. Ben Oucher is going to be starting in 3rd position ahead of Jamie Dorey. Ned Wharton will be in 5th position, and Jack Pittas in 6th position for him. In 7th position, it will then be, as I'm trying to sort things out here, looks like we have lost some of our customization with our overlays. Adam Wilson will start in 7th out of Benji Mikulski. It will then be Jonathan Berry in 9th out of Sam Bradley. Alan McCain will start this one in 11th position ahead of Fraser Rostons, 12th position. 13th position will go the way of Phil McDougall, and George Stone will be in 14th. 15th will be for Jack Brown, and Joshua Downing will be in 16th position ahead of Carl Thompson. Dan Cross will start this one in 18th place ahead of Mark Sykes. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez will start in 20th ahead of Robert Savage. Mark Hughes will start in 22nd position ahead of Jonah Watkins and Matt Gatter. We then have Sammy Uribe at the rear of the field in 25th position. Our drivers then are going to be getting ready for this one. Everyone with wet tyres on, which is not a surprise, I think, for anyone out there watching. We saw it was wet in that qualifying session as well. It is no doubt was going to be wet for this one, as we have a little bit of a look at our drivers on the grid there, and we will be preparing to start this one. It is going to be 11 laps of racing action around here for race number 1, and there the laps are on the board to prepare to go here. The lights will be up and away we go. We are green around Nurburgring here for the first race in this non-championship event. Wojciech will lead up towards turn number 1 ahead of the rest of the field, seeing if we can get in towards turn number 1 without issue. Of course, it crosses across into turn 2. Early doors is not going up around the arena. It is a lot of puddles on the racing line there for a number of our drivers, getting shoved onto it, having to take those wetter parts of the course. But for the most part here, drivers have been able to get through. Actually, for the whole part, they've been able to get through without incident here, which is a real surprise. A little bit of a wobble there for Ned Wharton on the opening lap. He's side by side with Adam Wilson-Weir. Adam Wilson-Weir up 2 places on this opening lap already into a top 5 position as Ned Wharton drops out of it. Pittas down, as well as we got Jack Brown going around in the background and needs to recover from that one. And it looks like Jonathan Berry is also around with Joshua Downing. The 2 of them off as well. We will have to see what happens to them as we head back up towards the front here. And it is Adam Delmont chasing down Wojciech at the very front of this field. Trying to see if he is able to move up this position at all, up towards the final turn for Adam Delmont, and he's just stuck behind as it stands right now. Not going to be able to do anything there, but further back, the rest of the field, they are still trying to sort themselves out and find an appropriate place to get through the positions. Mark Hughes there, looking like he might have a little bit of speed. So does Matt Gatta and Sammy Ariba on the right-hand side. In fact, Gatta now moves to the right of Hughes. It's going to be 3 wide across the line there. Ariba drops back a little bit, but he could put his nose in here up towards turn number 1. Is he going to do that? No, he isn't. He's going to back out and allow the side-by-side battling between Gatta and Hughes. Gatta has to take the wider line through turn number 2 to try and hold it on that outside, and he does hold it on that outside line and will move up the position. Now Sammy Ariba's looking at Mark Hughes and thinking, right, now where can I make this position? Where can I be able to move up the order in this one? Talking about moving up the order, let's go a bit further back towards the front here and look at Adam Wilson-Weir. Adam Wilson-Weir has managed to gain 2 positions on the opening lap and looking to see if he can make any more at this point in the race. And right now he's seeing Ben Oucher in front, and there's just not enough space for him as Robert Savage has found himself facing the wrong way on the exit of turn number 5, back up towards the front of the field here. And it is Phil McDougall chasing down Pittas and McCain. That was a slide from McCain, and it's giving Pittas an opportunity here to try and get to the outside. And they are going to run side by side through the final turn and up towards the timing line. It is side by side with Pittas on the left of the road, McCain on the right of the road as Oucher takes the purple in this one. We come up towards the braking zone now. It was side by side ahead as Wharton and Wilson-Weir go for positions, and that was McCain going for a very late braking moment there, almost into the back of Bradley. Is trying to hold it around the outside of Pittas now, and he certainly can do it. It's still side by side between Wilson-Weir and Norton. Norton's going to be stuck on the outside as they go through turn 3 and through that cut-off that takes them off of the main GP loop, gets them back on again before we go through Avenel Curve. At the moment, it is remaining pretty single file towards the front of the field. This is the furthest fight up, as Wharton now goes to the outside of Adam Wilson-Weir, and once more, the 2 of them are side by side as they head out of turn 5 and through 6. Wharton takes the position ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir and returns to the position in which he qualified on this one. Right then, let's have a little look at what happened to a few of our drivers on the opening lap. This was Jack Brown. It was just a self-spin, a little bit too tight, picked up some water, and it caused the car to go around. This was Jonathan Berry. He went around on his own, and then it was a separate spin from Joshua Downing behind, and they found themselves parked together on the edge there. And this was Robert Savage. He found his way off the road as well with a spin. Jonathan Berry then had another spin similar to his opening lap spin on the 3rd lap of the race, and he was now facing the right way again. Back to live pictures now And back up towards the front because Ben Oucher is all over the rear end of Jamie Dory here. This is the train that takes us to the lead as Oucher sits in 4th position in this race. It's Jamie Dory just in front of him there. Then it's Adam Delmont, and at the front it's Wozczak. That was a big slide there from Oucher, who has to get it all sensible once more to collect it up towards turn number 4 as the leading 4 come on through. We go and have a look at Adrian Ruiz Hernandez here chasing down Carl Thompson to see if he is able to do anything. In that one, he does have Mark Sykes, though, all over his rear as well. So right now, he wants to be focusing ahead of him. He is going to be looking in that rear view mirror. He's going to be looking at that bright, reflective green machine. It is very easy to spot, very difficult to miss, just like the reflective blue and pink machine of the 13. As we head up in towards the final turn there, you can see that Wilson Weir still within the fight in the background of 6, but he is trying to keep Benji McCluskey at bay there in 7th position. Up towards the timing line we go. That was a little bit onto the gravel there for Sam Bradley. He keeps it together, though, as Wharton now goes purple, and Jack Brown makes an overtake in what is his attempt at recovering in this race. This was how that one happened. It was on exit there as Watkins just slow in the number 4 machine, and through went Jack Brown back up towards the front of this field then. And Wozczak is still leading the way ahead of Adam Delmont. Jamie Dory still chasing behind, followed by Ben Oucher and Ned Wharton. We're coming up to about halfway through the opening lap of the race here, and can I just say, it has been great racing to watch, and there's been self-spins, but there has not been argy-bargy incidents, which I think is exactly what you want in a racing competition, is great close racing, which we are seeing. You can see on the left-hand side those intervals. There are close fights up and down the field here, and that's what proves to be popular racing, is the ones where you are constantly in a fight. You're not out there on your own, and there's only, I would say, Jonathan Berry currently lapping on his own following a few issues, as he has gone around twice more on the 3rd lap of asking. Talking about going around, that was Wozczak from your race lead. He has found himself down the order now to P10 with a mistake up at the chicane. This is how it occurred, just a little bit too much on the curbing, and the car went around, which promotes Adam Delmont into the race lead here, as that is going to be down to P10 for Wozczak. Wilson Weir drops behind Benji McCluskey as they were continuing to fight. It turned into a top 5 fight here. And now down to P6 once more for Adam Wilson Weir. What that does mean is this leading fight now down to 4 cars with 5 laps about to go here. As we get to the end of lap number 6, it will be 5 to go. And that is Ned Wharton just dropping a little bit off the back of Outra here. I'm sure drivers in this fight, they're just looking at the car in front of them thinking, where can we possibly make the overtake here? Where can we make the move and find an opportunity? As we watch Delmont and Dory come up towards the braking zone for turn number 7. Outra gets to the rear of Dory as well. I just saw Wozczak take a bit too much curbing there. Are they going to be taking a bit easier? I don't think Oucher is, because he is now all on the rear of Jamie Dory, as Sam Bradley has found his way around. It looks like it might have been contact with Matt Gatter that has sent Sam Bradley around, and Matt Gatter is already a lap down, so that could be contact with a back marker. This is what's happened to Sam Bradley. No. It looks like that was just a self-spin, a bit too much power on his own there. This is what happened to Matt Gatter, and it was just a spin in the same location we've seen before on the exit of the Bilstein curve. It is a challenging corner, especially in these wet conditions. Right, we head up towards turn number 3. We ride on board with the man at the rear of this train at the front of the field. It's 0.4 of a second between himself and Adam Delmont. It's opened up a little bit there as they get onto the power, but it is extremely close between all of these. At the moment, that's onto the grass, though, for Wharton. Somehow, some way, Wharton holds it. What a save. A little bit onto that white line there. It's big old slide, but he keeps it together. He has dropped off a little bit here, but he's not out of the fight. This is the next train back. This is Alan McCain leading this train in 7th. We're watching Phil McDougall in 10th right now, and the train extends all the way back to Sam Bradley in 14th. That was a look to the inside there for Wozciak. It sends Jack Pittas a little bit deep at the chicane, and now we head up towards the final turn. Of course, Wozciak here trying to move back up the order after going around at the chicane before. Dan Cross gets to the inside of Fraser Rostance and moves up into 12th position. Right now, Carl Thompson is sitting pretty. 3 seconds ahead of him, 3 seconds behind. He will get pole position for race number 2, where we will see the top 15 reversed. Here comes Fraser Rostance, though. He's looking to get back past Dan Cross for 12th position. Rostance to the inside. It's Sam Bradley behind, just looking to see what he could potentially do there. That tighter line not working out for Rostance, and that could be Bradley coming in to try and fight it out here. He certainly is, as that was a very close move, as Delmont and Dory did swap momentarily for the race lead. We'll be going back up there in a moment, but Rostance does hold it over Bradley there. This is what happened. This is how these drivers momentarily swapped position. Dory had the speed on the exit of turn number 2 up towards turn number 3, trying to hold it on the outside. It's not going to work out the long way round there, and Dory has to just settle in behind for now. But we return to the front fight, because here goes Dory once more. He looked to the outside of Delmont there. That outside line into the chicane, not going to work. Delmont just placing it perfectly to stop Dory having the speed into the chicane. But what about out of it there? Dory running as wide as he can go there over the curbing to try and get as much speed through the right-hander as possible as we come up towards the timing line here. It is going to be Delmont leading Dory, leading Oucher. Wharton there about 1.5 seconds back now. He has dropped back in this one, as it looks like Jono Watkins has had an issue. What's happened to him? As we ride on board up into the cut through. It's late on the turn. He was trying to get out of the way, I think, of some drivers getting past him, and a big hit with the wall there for Watkins. Back up to the lead fight here, as we watch Dory chasing down Delmont once again. But this could be Pittas making his move on the outside of McCain. This is the move we saw attempted by Dory for the race lead. Is it going to work out here for Pittas? He gets a little bit behind there, and now Wozciak is going to be able to get to his inside. Swings it to the outside now. We'll have to try and hold it on the outside of 4 if he can. It will give him the inside to Bilstein curve. He is still there, but he has to back out of it, and Pittas is just going to hold on to peak number 8 for now, with 9th place going the way of Wozciak as he tries to recover in this race following that earlier spin. This is Mark Sykes chasing down Adrian Hernandez coming through turn number 5 of Bilstein curve. He swaps across. That's Mark Hughes chasing down just behind as well, seeing this fight going on ahead of him, and it looks like McCain and Pittas have once again swapped positions up through the chicane. Something is going on there as McCain falls down. I think it was a potential slowdown here as we've got to jump back up. There is contact going on and everything right now between Pittas and Wozciak. We'll have to have a look. I can see the off tracks that came on lap number 9 there for those drivers through the chicane. It is going to be the inside line here for Wozciak, the outside line for Pittas. Wozciak is going to brake a little bit later. Pittas trying to get the speed on the exit perhaps in this one, and that's what he's trying to go for. You could see the attempt at the up and under there. It didn't work out for him. What could work out is Jamie Dory's attempt for the lead. He's gone to the inside of turn number 3. He will be stuck on the outside of Ravenel curve here, but he has got enough overlap that it will give him the inside to Bilstein as Jamie Dory looks to try and take the lead in this race. He backs down through Bilstein curve as he allows Adam Delmont Dalmont to just hold on to that lead for now. This has allowed Ned Wharton to come back into the fight, and Wharton goes to the inside of Oucher, and Ned Wharton defends from Oucher. Wharton now onto the podium. Oucher's not going to back out of it, though. He looks back to the inside of Ned Wharton here, side by side into the chicane. A little bit of a nudge there. Wharton stays ahead. Oucher once again looking for the speed in this one. Right, what happened on the previous lap to McCain here? He's gone extremely deep into the chicane. He's then cut the chicane. And I think that's then just, yeah, it's just caused the pinball of the slowing down of cars behind as well into that one. Right, the white flag is out. Jamie Dory chases Adam Dalmont. Ben Oucher chases Ned Wharton, and Benji McCluskey from nowhere has got himself back involved in this one in P5. He has an opportunity to take a podium right now as we watch the drivers head up towards the cut through of turn number 3. Again, our camera's not quite sure where they are when they go through that cut through. It's something iRacing has never fixed. As Jamie Dory comes to turn number 4 of Ravenel Curve. It looks like this is going to go the way of Adam Dalmont in this fight. Back in another fight, though, is Sam Bradley. Side by side with that Dan Cross. It is sideways for Bradley. He holds it together, though, but does have to remain behind Dan Cross at the moment, and Cross will stay in 12th position in their fight. Right, it is going to be up towards the end here for Adam Dalmont and the chasing pack as they come through the Vidal chicane and up towards the Hyundai curve. It looks like they are going to remain in file here for 1st to 5th position. For race number 1 of the day, Adam Dalmont is going to take the win. After Wozczek's spin, Jamie Dory and Ned Wharton are going to take the final podium positions out of Oucher and McCluskey. Adam Wilson-Weir will hold on to 6th position ahead of Wozczek and Jack Pittas. Alan McCain comes across the line next, and then we've got a train of drivers coming up towards the line in a fight for 13th position, but it looks like Rostens is going to hold on ahead of Sam Bradley. Still more fights coming out of the final turn here, as this is Jack Brown trying to chase down Mark Hughes to the timing line as well. It isn't going to work out for him. And finally, Matt Gatter trying to chase down Robert Savage on 21st and 22nd position. Through the final turn they go, up towards the timing line, but the position will go the way of Robert Savage, which means in the reverse grid, Carl Thompson here is going to be the man who takes the reverse grid pole position. But it was this man, Adam Dalmont, who took home the first victory of the day. 2 more races coming your way, of course, and now that we've got what we believe is everything fixed, we should have no issues bringing you the broadcast for the next 2 races. But a great victory for Adam Dalmont there, holding on ahead of Jamie Dory. And with that being said, let's get the race results from this one as we just get our race results. Here we go. As our overlay, we're still doing overlay things. Obviously, it's not the Legends Cup, but this is the non-championship Toyota GR86 event, and it was Adam Dalmont who won this one ahead of Jamie Dory. Ned Wharton came home in 3rd position out of Ben Oucher, and Benji McCluskey came home in 5th position. It was Adam Wilson-Weir crossing the line in 6th, ahead of Wozczek Swierdowski, as I tried to pronounce his last name as best as I can, in 7th position. Jack Pittas comes home in 8th, ahead of Alan McCain, and Phil McDougall rounded out your top 10 in the end. In 11th position was George Stone ahead of Dan Cross. It was Fraser Rostens who crossed the line just ahead of Sam Bradley in 13th and 14th. Carl Thompson crossed the line in 15th ahead of Adrian Ruiz Hernandez. Mark Hughes crossed the line in 17th ahead of Jack Brown. Joshua Downing in 19th. It was Sammy Uribe in 20th position in that one, ahead of Robert Savage, Matt Gatter, Mark Sykes, and Jonathan Berry. Jonah Watkins coming down 2 laps back at the end of that one after getting that meatball flag and having to go down pit lane. With that being said then, let's see if we have someone that we can talk to out of that one, because it was a great set of racing. And we will talk to Ben Oucher following race number 1 there. Ben, you came home just off of the podium in P number 4, but you had a great fight going on there. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I was happy sat behind Adam and Jamie for the most part to begin with. Just trying to break away from the rest of the guys, but Ned made his way through and caught back up to us, and he put Jamie and I under pressure to actually do something. And in the end, the concertina caught me out, caught me slow, and Ned got by me.
You had a great fight, though, with it. It does mean in the reverse grid for race number 2, you're going to be starting, if I can do my maths correctly off the top of my head, 12th position, which means you have a little bit of working through the order to do. How are you feeling about that inverted grid?
Yeah, it'd be fun. I think it's supposed to be a little bit wet again for the next race as well, so be a bit of fun working through some of the guys that might be a little bit slower. So we'll see where I end up.
All right then, good luck for race number 2, Ben, and we'll see how you do.
Cheers, mate.
Ben Oucher there, coming home in P number 4 in the end, and we'll talk to one more after that one, and we will have a quick word with a man who was having a bit of a fight towards the rear of that one as well, and that was Sam Bradley. Sam, you came home that one in P number 14. You had a good fight going on with Fraser Rostance ahead of you. Talk us through your race.
Well, I was driving around by myself for a bit and then ended up just spinning myself out. Turned it into a battle for 12.
Well, it was a nice little battle that we caught on the stream a few points towards the end there. What it does mean is that you are going to find yourself on the front row of the grid for the next one. So how do you feel about that? Well, second position is going to be a high up the order. It's going to be wet again. Do you think you're going to be able to hold on to it, keep the car going the right way?
We've got much better chance in the wet, I reckon. I think the third race is going to be dry, so maybe get some points from now on as well.
Wow, good luck for the next one, Sam, and hopefully you can take advantage of a great starting position.
Thank you very much.
Sam Bradley there, who finished that one in 14th, so we'll be starting the next one from the very from the very front of the field in second position. But here then, we are going to call it quits from race number 1, and we will prepare to get into race number 2. So don't go anywhere, because in about 5 minutes' time, we'll be bringing you race number 2. We are back here at Nurburgring for race number 2 of our Toyota GR86 event here, as drivers are just getting around on their warm-up laps to prepare themselves for racing action. A few minutes until it will be time to go, and there are a number of drivers out there who are giving the dry tyres a go in this session, just to see if potentially they could put the dry tyres on. There is always the possibility of putting the dry tyres on and giving it a go with the alternate strategy call, I would say, in this, with the fact that it is still slightly damp out there, but I don't think it's looking anywhere near as wet as it was earlier, as we just try to see if we can get our final few bits fixed here, because we were having a couple of overlay issues in the session before, but I think I may have been able to sort those ones out, which is excellent news, of course, for all of us watching, because I know how it looks sometimes when things aren't working the best. It does detract from the overall quality of what you are watching, so we do apologise when things do go wrong. We try our best to keep it working as smoothly as possible. That being said, we will see if we can get our overlays working here with everything going on, and it certainly looks like we do, which is excellent news indeed, as we do have the end of the warm-up session here, of course, and it's been an absolute excellent evening of racing so far. That is for certain, as we prepare for race number 2. And here is a reminder of how race number 2 is going to go. It is another 11-lapped race here. It is going to be it's going to be the top 15 reversed for this one. So drivers do need to get themselves back up the order. We spoke to Ben Oucher, who is going to be starting towards the bottom of the top 15 here, and there is certainly going to be drivers trying to make their way through. We also talked to Sam Bradley, who's going to be starting on the front row, and it's just about trying to keep himself up at the front. It does look like drivers who were on dry tyres, a lot of them swapping back across to the wets here. So it does look like we are going to be going for mostly wet tyres, but it does look like it is going to be a bit of an interesting choice. What tyre do you want to be on going into the first lap of asking here? Now, of course, with the race only being 11 laps long, whatever tyre you choose to start on are the tyres you're going to be on unless the safety car comes out. But we can just see here, if we go for a moment here, you can see the wet puddles just where our camera was there. There are still puddles out there on the circuit at the moment, and it is going to be interesting to see what tyre choices drivers are going to be on. And as we go through the grid, I will try to keep you updated on those that are choosing the dry tyres. Now, that being said, let's go through the grid for this one, which will see race number 1's results with the top 15 reverse. That means Carl Thompson is going to find his way onto pole position here for race number 2, ahead of Sam Bradley. Fraser Rostance is going to be starting 3rd, ahead of Dan Cross. George Stone in 5th, and 6th is Phil McDougall. 7th is Alan McCain, ahead of Jack Pittis. Then it is Washchek, ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Benji McCluskey in 11th, ahead of Ben Oucher. Then it's Ned Wharton, ahead of Jamie Dory and Adam Delmont. The rest of the field, as they were at the end of race number 1, it's Adrian Hernandez, Mark Hughes and Jack Brown, followed by Joshua Downing, Sammy Uribe and Robert Savage, Matt Gatter, Mark Sykes, Jonathan Berry and Juno Watkins at the back of the field. Most drivers on wets. Carl Thompson was on dries. He's gone back to pit lane. Phil McDougall, Alan McCain, 6th and 7th position are on dries. Carl Thompson is on dries. The rest on wets at the moment. We will see if I can get tyre compounds we will have on the left-hand side timing tower when we get that up, because it looks like we are going to see a mix of tyre compounds in this race as drivers prepare for racing action. 4 drivers. Jono Watkins has now gone on to dry compound tyres as well. He's gone back to pit lane, actually. He might be going across onto the wet tyres. As we prepare to go racing here around Nurburgring, we have 3 drivers on the dry tyres. Carl Thompson, Phil McDougall and Alan McCain are going to be risking it on the dry tyres. We are away off the line here, and it is not a good start for Sammy Ariba, who will have to visit down pit lane on the end of the opening lap here, at least within the first 3 laps of asking in this race. It'll be side by side into turn number 1, 3 drivers on dry tyres, including our race leader, Carl Thompson. The rest of the field have opted for the wet compounder tyres. You can already see a big mix of drivers in the midfield as they swap around. Carl Thompson already down to 5th position. Alan McCain, however, is gaining positions on his dry tyres as we go through the cut through. And that's already sideways. Who's that off? That's Carl Thompson on the dry tyres around on the opening lap of asking here. And we come through turn number 4. As we're still side by side, we go 3 wide into Bilstein curve there. It settles down. Adam Delmont looking to try and move back up the order. He's up to 12th right now on the start. Alan McCain, though, he is up a position on the opening lap of this race. He is on dry tyres in that 2-1-2 machine as we head up towards the end of the lap. You can see on that dry compound of tyres up towards the front, though. It looks like Pittas trying to get past Dan Cross, but it's Sam Bradley leading the way as McCain has gone around. Those dry tyres are not working out as Phil McDougall, now the only survivor on the dry tyres from the opening lap. He is down 5 spots here, but he has survived this one. That's Sammy Ariba diving down pit lane to serve the penalty that he picked up for jumping the start. It is 3 wide down the straight here. Phil McDougall on the dry tyres is going to be trying to save whatever he can, as just waiting for the conditions to come his way, because if this circuit does dry up significantly within the next 5 or 6 laps as he gets hit from behind, he somehow stays the right way as Hernandez was the driver that hit him. He's gone around. Hernandez now getting it back the right way again, and there he goes. Yeah, these dry tyres, unless it significantly dries up here, it could be a really bad choice to have gone onto them, although we have seen at the Joseph Wright broadcasting races before that the alternate tyre choice can and has come back to take victory in races such as these where the conditions are changeable. There's no expectation for rain. We're just waiting for the circuit to dry to see if it's going to be good enough for our drivers to run on those dried compounder tyres. Of course, being such a short race, a pit stop's going to be too long. You're going to be stuck on the tyres that you are on unless that safety car comes out, gives you time to come down pit lane. Are we going to see any of the dry tyre runners come down pit lane? We are not. This is Phil McDougall in the middle of all of this. He's stuck on that outside line once more in the 105 as we see a car into the wall there. We heard the crunch, and that was Robert Savage who ended up going into the wall. Trying to recover after going around in race number 1. We've got Wozczak here running around in P number 7. He is up 2 places from the start, but trying to find some moves through. It is tricky to get through the order here for our drivers. Our biggest mover and shaker right now is Jonathan Berry. He's up 10 positions. Ned Wharton looking to gain past Adam Wilson-Weir here. On the outside they go side by side through the cut through and out of turn number 3 and up towards Ravenel Curve here, and it moves across to the inside from Wilson-Weir as he goes defensive. Wharton behind, gets that tighter line, looking for just a nose that he can put in and activate that call out to say you've got a car beside you. Try to get Wilson-Weir off the racing line. At the moment he can't do it though. He is pushing Wilson-Weir. Are they going to work together perhaps to try and catch that leading chain of drivers? It looks like Wharton might have switched his strategy up here to work with Wilson-Weir, or will it be as they go different lines there through the chicane almost to the inside? Didn't quite work out the way that he was probably expecting there. We ride on board with Adrian Hernandez into the chicane behind Carl Thompson here as that's Phil McDougall on the dry tyres. around, and you can see those dry tyres. The risk on the dry tyres is just not working out there. And Phil McDougall, he was down pit lane. It looked like he was going to come down pit lane, and McDougall changing his mind there at the last moment. McCluskey having to go defensive on Wozniak and Ben Oucher. Oucher has gained 4 positions here. Ben McCluskey up 5. They are trying to get back into the top 5 after a strong race run result here. Through the cut, through a turn number 3, and up towards Ravenel Curve. This train of drivers gets really close to P number 3. It then opens up to about 2 seconds before you reach Jack Pittas. A further second up to get to Sam Bradley, who we talked to at the end of race number 1. He had some issues, fell down the order. Started in 2nd position in this one and has moved through into the lead, starting on the wet tyres. Definitely the choice that drivers should have made here, and we can see that is a big issue for those that are out there on the dry compounder tyres at the moment. They are just falling around as Ben Oucher spins through the chicane there. Vino chicane, he goes around, and Ben Oucher's charge up the order just came to a halt as he spins down into P14. Not what he would have wanted as we go on to the 5th lap of asking here. 7 more laps to go right now around the Nurburgring circuit, and it is being led by Sam Bradley. That gap now down to just half a second as Fraser Rostance has gone around at turn number 1 and finds himself parked, just waiting for drivers to go past him. Let's see how that happened. It was contact. It was contact there from George Stone that sent Rostance around. There was another driver involved in that one as well. As we ride on board, this was Adam Delmont. There it is at turn number 1. 3 cars around. And Rostance just doing the right thing. He just stays over to the side there. Has to wait for the door wait for the cars to stop streaming on past so that he can make that move. Jack Pittas here chasing down Sam Bradley, looking to try and move through for the lead. Pittas has the good speed there on the exit of the Vidal chicane. Up towards Hyundai Curve now. He looks to the inside. He's not going to be able to place it there. Even if he did get to the inside of Bradley, he would have been over that water that would have slowed him down. He has to wait behind once more as we go on to the 6th lap of asking here, chasing down the race lead. We ride on board Sam Bradley looking back at Pittas. You can see the gap that they've got over Dan Cross. It is going to be a wider entrance there for Pittas. Is he going for that switchback move? He certainly is. Bradley keeps it on the curbing though, and keeps it nice and tight, which means that they're not able to make a move through in that one. As we continue to watch these drivers run around. It looks like, there we go. For some reason, my intervals were showing as gaps. We'll fix that on the left-hand side. Jonathan Berry here goes to the inside. That was rain. McCain, Thompson, McDougall would have just been crying a little bit inside, I think, seeing that, because they've gone for the dry tyres, hoping the circuit will dry by the end of it. That rain, it's only a sprinkling at the moment, but if it continues to fall, it will, I mean, they're already a huge while back, 20 seconds off of the race leader. But if this circuit dried quick enough, there is an opportunity that they could pull their way back up, claw some positions back in this race. But right now in these conditions, it's not going to go that way. And with that sprinkling just occasionally appearing, it's going to be slowing down the circuit's drying abilities. Jack Pittas once more on the rear end of Sam Bradley here. Bradley goes defensive. Pittas moves to the outside. As the rain continues to fall, we head up towards turn number 1 now with Bradley on the inside. Pittas on the outside here. Pittas once again trying to do the switchback move here. And he's going to get a good exit there through turn number 2 to run side by side with Sam Bradley as we head up towards the cut through of turn number 3. Pittas is going for the switchback. He switches across. A great move. There's contact, though, on the exit between Bradley and Pittas. They run side by side up towards turn number 4 here. And that's Bradley back into the lead, but Pittas still right there. Their fighting is inviting Cross, McCluskey, and Wojciech back into this fight here, as they are now not too far behind, only about 1.5 seconds off of this fight. And if they continue to fight as hard as they are, we could see a 5-car battle for the lead once again. Pittas goes to the outside, has to stay behind, looking for an alternate line here, as behind that battle also continues for the bottom of the podium places. Are they going to work together with what will be 4 laps to go? As we go on to lap number 8 here. It looks like they might be working together just to try and catch up towards the end here at the moment. Issues for Kyle Thompson. Out of the final turn. It's a big old slide for Thompson. Around he spins. Somehow is avoided by everyone. That was McDougall who almost hit him there at the final turn. But Thompson gets himself back the right way. And Dan Cross now only a second behind. But here comes McCluskey. He's not waiting around to see if they can catch the leading fight. McCluskey goes to the outside. That's also a battle between Wharton and Wilson. We're behind. There's contact there. Cross touches McCluskey just a little bit there. Enough to unsettle McCluskey, but he keeps it in. Benji will hold it on the inside now, trying to close as much as the width of the track as he can. Was Cross there, running in the middle of the track. And now into the Bilstein curve. And what could have been a fight for the lead, this fight for third, has just allowed Bradley and Pittas to double their gap at the front of this field here. So what could have been a job to work together is dropped behind now. But here goes Benji once more to the inside of Dan Cross. Into the Vidal chicane. It's the tighter line on entry there. But it's all about the exit. And here comes Wojciech. Wojciech being pushed as well by Ned Wharton. It's 3 wide into the final turn. There is contact, and that's Dan Cross down 5 positions in 1 turn. Dan Cross has just lost 3rd position for P number 8. It still runs side by side for 3rd. Cross trying to get back past Delmont here. As we go on to the 9th lap of asking. Bradley and Pittas, we're going side by side in front. It still stays Bradley ahead at the moment. That is Wojciech through as Wharton tries to follow him around. McCluskey's stuck on the left-hand side here. That's Adam Wilson-Weir trying to get involved. He is. He's going to get alongside with Wharton now. Cross and Delmont still side by side behind as we go into the cut-through right now. We're on board with Adam Wilson-Weir trying to get this fight. Dan Cross falls behind. Delmont as well, just behind in their little fight, but he stays to the inside. It will be side by side between Cross and Delmont. There's a little bit of a nudge there. Great thing about these cars, you can do those small little nudges. Wharton gets back past McCluskey here, up to P number 4 as Adam Wilson-Weir looks to see if he can do anything, but it is side by side for the race lead. Pittas on the outside of the Vidal chicane. He breaks early here, looking to try and get the speed on the exit. Swaps across to the left there. Slow from Bradley in the mid part of the corner. Pittas now is going to be on the outside of Hyundai curve as they come through turn number 9. Trying to carry that wider line. If he can keep it there on the exit though, which he does, he can carry the speed. Jack Pittas and Sam Bradley are side by side for the race lead, as that was Benji McCluskey around in the final turn. After a race-long fight, it goes wrong on the 3rd to last lap of asking. We're on the penultimate lap now. That was Bradley looking to the inside. Pittas went defensive, and Bradley just had to back out of that one. If they continue to fight, they could invite Wojciech back in here, but here comes Bradley. Another door bang there as they head up towards turn number 3 and in towards the cut-through now. We ride on board with Pittas. It's going to be Bradley on that wider line, trying to do the up and under that Pittas did earlier. Pittas knowing that's what he wanted to do. took to the brakes mid-corner there just to keep it nice and slow to avoid Bradley being able to do the switch across there, and it will be Pittas still out in front at the moment in this one ahead of Sam Bradley. This is what happened to Benji McCluskey at the end of the last lap. It's contact from Delmont on the inside as it was 3 wide into the turn. He stays where he is. He doesn't move forward. He doesn't move backward. He remains predictable there, which is exactly what you want to do, making sure that everybody knows exactly where he is on the racing track. Right then, Sam Bradley, he started this race in second. Will he be finishing it in second as Pittas goes defensive, then moves back to the racing line there? You'd argue it was a double move there, but they do head into the final turn. 0.2 of a second between them. Pittas is up 7 places in this race following the reverse grid. Can he take the win as we go across the timing line and onto the final lap of asking here? Will Pittas go to the inside? Bradley gets to the inside. We'll get heavy on the brakes here. Pittas is looking to get the speed on the exit because Bradley runs deep, but if he can keep it to the inside, which he can't, it is going to be the way of Pittas for now, but Bradley has not dropped out of this one. He's still there as Delmont gets past Cross in the background for 7th position. Back to this lead fight here as Phil McDougall has had issues on the last lap around. Pittas has got half a second over Bradley now, but this is Waszczak. He was down in P number 9 at the start of the race. He has worked his way up onto the podium. I think the win is out of touch here, but he could get 2nd position here. Fraser Rostens and Adrian Hernandez go side by side up towards the cut through here. And it's going to be deep on the brakes from Fraser there, and he has to give up position in that fight. But up towards the Vidal chicane now. Is Waszczak going to be able to do anything? Trying to get some speed maybe on the exit over Sam Bradley. A little bit of a slide on the rear end. Bradley's going to go defensive up towards the final turn. Waszczak stays a little bit behind. He is on that wider line, trying to maybe get the switch back. It's all about the speed on the exit now. But the race win goes the way of Jack Pittas. Bradley comes across the line ahead of Waszczak there. Ned Wharton holds on, and the next train of drivers files across the line, being led by Adam Delmont. More fights going on as George Stone and Joshua Downing drag race to the line. Who came on ahead of that one? Joshua Downing by 1,000ths of a second. Came across the line ahead in that fight. More fights behind as Robert Savage leads the train of Mark Sykes, Adrian Hernandez and Fraser Rostens there as well. And then at the back of the field, it was an alternate strategy call for Phil McDougall, Alan McCain and Carl Thompson. It was a strategy call that ultimately did not play out for the 3 of them there. And they fell down the order. But race victory for Jack Pittas, who was able to come up from 8th on the grid. Really took the fight there to Sam Bradley. Some great battling between the 2 of them, and Jack Pittas comes home our race winner. So with that all being said and done, then let's have a look at how our race results come across after the 2nd of our 3 races today. Jack Pittas winning then ahead of Sam Bradley. Bradley just getting across the line ahead of Waszczak there in 3rd. Ned Wharton came home in 4th out of Adam Wilson-Weir. Adam Delmont crossed the line in 6th, just ahead of Dan Cross. Jamie Dory crossed the line in 8th, ahead of Ben Oucher. And Joshua Downing in 10th position. It was then George Stone coming across the line in 11th, ahead of Jonathan Berry. Jack Brown crossed the line in 13th, and Mark Hughes in 14th position, ahead of Matt Gasser. Robert Savage crossed the line in 16th, ahead of Mark Sykes. Adrian Hernandez crossed the line in 18th, ahead of Fraser Rostens. And Jono Watkins took home 20th position. Benji McCluskey, after fighting for the podium positions, ended up finishing in 21st position, ahead of our 3 dry tyre runners of Phil McDougall, Alan McCain and Carl Thompson. And of course, Sammy Ariba had to come down pit lane at the end of lap number 1 after jumping the start. However, all of our drivers finished on the lead lap, which means Sammy Ariba is going to be starting the 3rd and final race today from pole position. Just to remind you of how that one's going to be, it will be a 17-lapped race with our full grid reverse. All of our drivers, as I said, on the lead lap there, so it will be a fully inverted grid for this one. Now, with that being said then, let's see who there is to talk to at the end of the second race of Asking here as we watch a replay of the start of this race. In fact, we will see if, let's see who is around in that one that we can talk to. In here, we will have a word with one of the drivers that went for the dry tyres. In fact, we will go on to, so we'll have a word with Alan McCain there. You decided the dry tyres, Alan. It didn't quite work out for you. However, you are now going to be starting third in race number 3, so in some way it's a little bit of a reward. How do you feel about that race?
I think if I hadn't have spun it at the chicane in the first lap, I would have been able to stay with them, and then come the dryer, I was hoping to pass them, but then because of the spin, everything went peak tongue, and then I spun again several other times, and everything just says, I'll just drive it till the end, I finish where I finish near the back, well, it gets me near the front for the next one, and it did, so happy days.
Indeed it does. We don't think there's going to be any rain in the final race. Are you thinking those dry tyres might be strapped back on for the last one?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Excellent. Hopefully this time then we'll be able to see all the dry tyres facing the right way at the end of the first 2 laps and see what they can do.
Hopefully so, yeah.
All right, good luck for the third race and starting very close to the front of the field.
Cheers, thank you.
Alan McCain there coming home in 23rd, but will be starting race number 3 from 3rd position, of course, with that one. And then let's see, just for a moment here, we will have a quick jump in with... Do you know what? We'll have a jump in here with Jono Watkins if Jono's around. If Jono, you been running around at the back of the field trying to get used to these cars. How are you feeling out there in the Toyotas? Can you hear us there, Jono?
Yep, sorry.
No, all good.
I'm used to the car, I'm just not used to the rain.
The weather making it a bit tricky. Race number 3 then, it's going to be, well, should be dry. We should see the dry tyres. How are you feeling about that one with the inverted grid? You're going to be starting in 6th position. Do you think you can take advantage of it?
Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully. I've got a little bit more experience in these cars in the dry, so... but there's a lot of fast guys in this, so I would suspect I'm going to be dropping back, but I will do my best.
All right, good luck for race number 3, Jono. We'll see what you can do.
Thank you very much.
Jono Watkins there, coming home in that one in 20th, but like I said, he's more familiar with these cars in the dry conditions, and it is going to be, should be, dry conditions for race number 3. That being said, we are about to get across to race number 3, so from here, we are going to take a momentary pause, and we will prepare for race number 3, so don't go anywhere, because we'll be back for our long 17-lap race in just about 5 minutes' time. Hello and welcome back here for the third and final race of the day around the Nurburgring circuit in the Toyota GR86s. It has been two really fantastic races, wet conditions out there, drivers on the wet tyres, the rain coming and going. Well, race number 3, the conditions have been completely flipped in addition to our racing grid because it is completely dry out there. No rain, no puddles, no precipitation in the air either. All our drivers will be on dry compound tyres and preparing to go racing without any additional weather factors in this one. With the flip in the weather conditions, it's a flip in our starting order as well, with our driver, Sammy Ariba, who finished in last place in race number 2, will be starting this race from the front of the grid. And our race winner in Jack Pittas will be starting this one at the very back of the field, which means that we are going to see some different names up at the front. And as you saw from race number 2, making your way through the field here is not as easy as it may seem. There takes a lot of work to be able to move your way through. So I hope you are ready for this one, because I certainly am. It is going to be an absolutely fantastic event as we return to the commentary booth once more. We've got just a few more minutes, well, just about a minute left in this warm-up session here, and I am looking out there, and these drivers are very much all on dry tyres, and they are all putting in significantly faster lap times than what we've been seeing through qualifying and the first 2 races. Of course, there's no water out there. Everyone on dry tyres, which means our qualifying laps of about 1 minute 30s, well, they have been shortened down. We're putting in about 1:24s right now, which means our drivers are going to be picking up the speed, and I know that means that some drivers definitely towards the rear of the field here, who've had a couple of good races, are going to be trying to work their way through the field as quickly as possible as we get started in this third race. Of course, 17 laps are on the board for this one, so our drivers are not just going to be heading out there for 11 laps. They have a little bit longer to go around with on this time as we go down, and you can just see there's already fighting going on in this warm-up session as drivers are just getting used to now how these cars are handling in very different conditions. Obviously, the sun's starting to set as well, which means that they are now having a different challenge. The track's going to be getting cooler than what they would have been practicing on before, and the sun is going to be starting to set, which means these drivers are not going to have the same visual references that they had earlier on, with the possibly even getting blinded by the setting sun. I know that when I'm driving, getting blinded by that lowering sun is a big distraction. Now then, we are going to get onto the grid, so let's get that away and let's get the grid up for the final race of the day with 17 laps on the board. And as we said, Sammy Ariba is going to be starting this final race of the day from the front of the grid ahead of Carl Thompson. Alan McCain will be starting in third after trying dry tyres in race 2. It didn't go his way, along with Thompson and Phil McDougall, who starts 4th. Benji McCluskey will start in 5th ahead of Jono Watkins in 6th position, who we were just talking to. He prefers these dry conditions. Fraser Ostens will be starting in 7th ahead of Adrian Hernandez. Mark Sykes will start this one in 9th ahead of Robert Savage. Matt Gattel will start in 11th ahead of Mark Hughes, who will be in 12th position. And 13th on the grid is for Jack Brown ahead of Jonathan Berry. George Stone will be starting in 15th ahead of Joshua Downing. Ben Oucher in 17th ahead of Jamie Dorey. Dan Cross will be starting in 19th. Race 1 winner Adam Delmont will be starting from 20th, ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir and Ned Wharton. Rocek will be starting from 23rd, ahead of Sam Bradley in 24th. And Jack Pittas, our Race 2 winner, will be starting from the back of the field. As we get ready here for 17 laps of racing action, it will be Sammy Ariba who starts this one on the left-hand side of the screen at the front of the field. It'll be the left-hand side of the track. Of course, the outside line, not always where you want to be into turn number 1, but it is the best place to be at the Nurburgring circuit, because it will give you that nice rounded entrance into turn 2 to carry you, through turn 1 to carry you speed into and through turn 2. Of course, no arena section here today. We've been cutting off the arena, heading through turn 2, which is immediately the left after the Yokohama S. And of course, we are cutting off the bottom end of the circuit as well as we cut through at turn number 3. Right, the lights are up, 17 laps are on the board, and we're prepared to go racing for race number 3 here at Nurburgring. And the lights are down, and we are away and green here around the Nurburgring circuit. Everyone kicking up a load of smoke off the line there as we head down towards turn number 1. Are all of our drivers going to be able to make it? This is a dive from McCain to the inside. Sammy Ariba leaves the door open, allows him to do it, and McCain moves through into the lead, and we've got a car facing the wrong way. On the exit of turn 2, he has been collected by a couple of more cars in the background there. That was Benji, who collected Mark Sykes, and into the wall there is Jonathan Berry as he goes around as well. And that is Phil McDougall, who will have to serve a penalty off the opening lap of the race here after jumping the start. This is Jamie Dory leading Joshua Downing in 11th position right now. Dory up 7 positions off the start, and that's a car round, and a huge wreck there. A huge wreck for Robert Savage, who is collected, has some, looks like he is able to deal with the damage that he has picked up there, but a number of cars off the circuit around with issues on the opening lap here. We're going to go 3 wide into the chicane. We are going to settle down to 2 wide in 2x2 here, as this is Jack Brown trying to get past Joshua Downing. On the outside there is Adam Wilson. We're getting past George Stone behind. Phil McDougall down pit lane at the front of this one, and it does mean Alan McCain, look at the lead he has on this one with the safety car out, which is not a surprise to, I think, to anybody there. The safety car has come out on the opening lap of asking here with all of the issues that were happening there, a number of cars around. That was not what I thought that said. I thought that had the safety car information there. But no, we are under safety car here. So with that being said, it looks like Benji McCluskey is got a meatball. Robert Savage has got a meatball. Mark Sykes has got a meatball. Is Jonathan Berry down pit lane as well? It looks like he is. He didn't have a meatball, but Jonathan Berry also down pit lane. Of course, that means Phil McDougall, who got a black flag on the opening lap of asking, is out there on the... on what am I trying to say? He is out there on... without the penalty now. That's what I was trying to say. He's out there without any penalty now, which means that he can just focus on his race, albeit from the back of the field. Now then. Let's see here what happened on the opening lap. This is Benji going around. Ooh, what happened there? Because he was then collected. We saw the collection, but what happened to Benji here? Was it contact with the 774? No, it looked like there might be an attack, but he just took too much of the curbing there. And then it was the 42 of Mark Sykes who just drove and just kept on driving through him there. So that's what happened to Sykes in this one. This is Sykes' view. You can see the smoke, and he just appeared from nowhere, but then Sykes just continues accelerating in it. This is what happened to Berry. Oh, what happened to Berry there? That's the question, actually. What happened to Berry there? Was it contact? Oh... it was a slight pit maneuver there, but I would say he almost pitted himself. It looked like he moved to the right himself there, causing that issue. This is what happened to Robert Savage. Yep, it was the slide through turn 5, Bilstein curve, and there's the collection from his teammate, it looked like. This is Matt Gatter. He just went around himself, put a bit too much power onto it there. Was it Pittas who hit? I think it might have been potentially Pittas who hit his teammate there. No, it was a head. Joshua Downing? Oh, it might have been Downing here who hit Savage. There's Savage spin, and yep, there's the contact from Downing. I thought it was a bit more full on than that, so it was not as bad as I thought it was. as we look off the rear end of the safety car here, back towards Alan McCain. McCain, who is now leading the field here, preparing for the restart. Kyle Thompson is running around in second. Jono Watkins, who he spoke to, said that he preferred these dry conditions. He's proving that right now, out there in fourth position, up 2 spaces off of the line. Jamie Dory is one of our biggest movers and shakers out there. 11 positions gained on the opening lap of the race before the safety car came out, alongside Ned Wharton. Adam Delmont up 10, and there pulls away the safety car, which means it will be Alan McCain who now leads the field and is in charge of the pace here as we prepare to go racing. We almost went the whole evening without the safety car, but it did need to make its appearance in the final race of the day. We come around the final corner. Here we go. Is McCain pulling away early? He certainly is. And we are going to go green with 14 laps on the board here left to go across the timing line. Alan McCain did pull a very big lead, but he's not going to be able to hold it with the safety car club bringing them back together again. Jamie Dory here behind Fraser Rostance, goes to the inside, gets pushed by Ben Oucher to the inside of turn number 1. They get it slowed down in time to not go into Hernandez there. Hernandez running in a top 5 position there for Rostance, and that is, was that McCain around? Or was that, no, that was Jono Watkins. It looked like it might have been McCain, but it wasn't. It was Watkins around there on the exit of turn number 2. He tries to go to the inside there, runs very deep. So deep, in fact, he sends himself off the circuit, and through goes the rest of the field as Ben Oucher now up to 6th position, chasing down Jamie Dory as Jono Watkins continues to fall down the field. He's down to 17th position off the start there as Benji and Matt Gatter have come together towards the back of the field. It looks like George Stone might be back there as well, as Gatter has a meatball flag in this one, and you can see why he has the meatball flag looking at the rear right tyre there. It is all but gone from the rear point of that car, as this is Hernandez now. He's been overtaken by Jamie Dory for P number 4, and we're going to go 3 wide into the final turn here. Is it going to come out okay, as that's Oucher spinning, and that was to the inside. Adam Delmont. Ned Wharton also gets to the inside there and makes his way up to 6th position as Hernandez down to 7th with that one, but Ben Oucher went spinning and down the order as they tried to go 3 wide through the final turn. It didn't look like there was contact there. I think Oucher just started to lose the rear end on his own. It's 3 wide up towards turn number 1, though, as we watch Joshua Downing in the middle of it. It looks like Jack Pittas is trying to get involved as well. Pittas starting from the rear of the field, of course, with winning race number 2, as Sammy Ariba is going to have to come down pit lane with a penalty. So is Jono Watkins, as Pittas has Bradley behind him now. Bradley chasing down, trying to regain that position. But Bradley under attack here from Jack Brown, who makes his way to the outside and won't be able to do that one just yet. We'll have to stay behind. Ned Wharton, though, sits behind Sammy Ariba, who's got that penalty. Ariba, of course, starting this one from the front of the field. The black flag will send him once again to the back of the field, as this is Pittas running side by side with Joshua Downing, and that's Pittas up to 11th now, up 14 places in this race. Jamie Dory up 15. He's in 3rd position right now, as we've got some really, again, some great movers and shakers in this 3rd and final race of the day. You can see in the bottom right there how many drivers have been able to fly up the order, as Adam Wilson-Weir has had an issue through the Vidal chicane. It's up into the air and then collected there. It was a small mistake from himself and then collected from behind. Fraser Rostance also getting a meatball flag, and will have to come down pit lane as well, as this is side by side into turn number 1 there. Just about Mark Hughes holding on at the front of this one, as now Pittas and Washek go side by side. Washek on the left-hand side, Pittas on the right, being squeezed there, but he still has his car's nose in front right now. They go into turn number 3. We'll see where they come out of the corner, and it will be ahead for Jack Pittas, which was Jack behind in P9 right now. We come through turn number 4 and into 5 of Bilstein Curve, and they are running single file once more, but I don't think it will stay that way for very long. Jack Brown has had some issues here And a big hit there from the 263 of Dan Cross, sending Brown around at turn number 1. Back to this fight, though, and Pittas has got Hughes on his inside. Hughes gets a lot of the curbing there. Pittas gets the curbing on the outside, and both of them go around, and Arriba follows them, and somehow Wojciech avoids all of it. Let's ride on board with Wojciech in that move, because that was... Look at curbing, contact, up and around, and somehow there was contact, but Wojciech kept the car facing the right way and will stay ahead. He got Joshua Downing to his inside, though, and that's Sam Bradley trying to do something from behind as well. Bradley all over the rear end of Downing here, and that's Downing sideways. Bradley's going to try and make the most of that to go onto the outside. Hernandez will have to come down pit lane with penalties as we come through the back end of the course there and up towards turn number 4. It is side by side for Joshua Downing and Dan Cross there. They settle themselves down in single file, and Phil McDougall now is looking to try and recover. He started this race in 4th position, remember. He is now chasing down to try and move back up the order. Talking about moving up the order, Jamie Dory has just gone past Cole Thompson. Thompson is not going to take that line down, though, and Thompson looks back to the inside of the final turn. Dory taking that extremely wide entrance here to get the speed on the exit. That's exactly what he's got, and he switches across to the right-hand side. It is side by side now between Thompson and Dory as we cross the timing line and come up towards turn number 1. Dory is going to stay ahead right now, and Jamie Dory will remain in P number 2. But let's have a little look at how that one occurred in the first place. Oh, no, that's how it occurred in the second place. This is how it occurred in the first place. It's to the inside of the final chicane, for the Vidal chicane for Jamie Dory. He takes it deep, and that is why he then left the door open again, was the exit was just there for Thompson. Thompson has just now lost it to Adam Delmore as we go back live. And Robert Savage has had an issue, an issue as turn number 2, and he spins himself around in that one. Benji McCluskey had issues, down 11 places after going around on the opening lap of the race. He's now on a recovery drive as well. He sits in 16th position right now ahead of Ben Oucher, and Robert Savage is the 8th lap of asking here, heading up towards lap number 9. As it looks like it might be going side by side there. No, they do settle themselves down. They still single fire, but will Ben Oucher make the move on the inside of Mikulski? He certainly does. McCluskey has to stay behind at the moment, and Oucher makes his way through. And will that be speed on the exit enough to hold on to 16th position? It certainly will. Thompson not backing away from the podium positions at the moment as Dory looking for his first win of the evening. Delmont looking for his second. Alan McCain has been having issues all evening long. Of course, going on to the dry tyres in race number 2 was not the strategy call to make, but it placed him in perfect position here. Started 3rd on the grid, moved to the lead, and he is 2.5 seconds out front right now. But Dory is the fastest man out there on the track at the moment. We head up to the cut through as we ride on board with Jack Pittas here, chasing down Jonathan Berry. Pittas up 14 places in this race so far, as Matt Gatta has had some issues up towards the chicane, through the chicane, and it's very similar to what we've seen before, and just moments before Watkins went the other way. So it was a couple of issues there through the end of the lap. Adam Delmont, though, is he going to be trying to get past Jamie Dory, or are they going to be working together at this stage in the race to try and catch up to Alan McCain? Let's find out as we ride on board with Adam Delmont here. Looks to the inside of turn number 1. Will he go for it? No, he is going to stay behind for now. Are they going to continue to run together as we come through turn number 2? There's certainly no fighting going on between them at the moment. I think there might be just a little bit of support between the two drivers as they try to catch up with Alan McCain. Of course, Delmont getting the toe last lap gave him the fastest lap of the race. Sam Bradley has had an issue into the chicane, and very similar to what we've been seeing most of the evening long, just a bit too much of the curbing, and it sends this car spinning around. As that's a little bit of gravel being kicked up by Dory there. This is McDougall looking to try to get the inside of Dan Cross here. To the inside of turn 4, now on the outside of Bilstein curve. He's looking to get the speed up towards the Bilstein, up towards the Advan Bogan and then the Vidal chicane. He sits on the right-hand side here as it's going to be to the right for McDougall. Is overlap at the moment of Dan Cross, but Cross is still there. His tyres are in line with the back of McDougall's car, and that's going to be Cross going deep into the chicane to hold on to that position. McDougall will have to hold on. That was smoke there. It might have been Ned Wharton who's just gone around there potentially. It was Ned Wharton who's gone around. He finds himself off the circuit, a little bit of smoke, but he finds himself back the right way again ahead. He's still ahead of this fight, though. So he did recover. He sits in 6th position right now. McDougall goes to the left-hand side, switches to the inside of Dan Cross there, up towards turn 1, but still doesn't go for the move there. Doesn't want to dive to the inside too hard. In that position there is a bit of a kick out on the rear end there. McDougall will just have to hold on behind Dan Cross still. Ben Oucher is side by side with Stone and with Bradley. Almost 3 wide here up towards the cut through. Oucher on the inside of Stone, but it's Mark Sykes ahead of them who's going to have to visit pit lane for a penalty. So Mark Sykes is going to have to come down pit lane and give way to these cars behind to serve that one as Wozczak gets past Ned Wharton for 5th position after Wharton went around at the chicane last lap. Phil McDougall once again looking to try and do something on Dan Cross here. Is he going to make the move that Cross made the last lap? He tries to and he shuts the door there, and around goes Dan Cross after contact into the chicane. It was argy-bargy from both of them along that straight. Cross tried to stay left, and it was McDougall trying to pull right. They go into the chicane, and then it wasn't the contact that caused the spin, of course. It was the curbing, but you could argue the contact is what caused him to be out there. Right, this is Wozczak. He's back behind Ned Wharton here as Wharton's made his way back into P5, but Wozczak is not going to take that line down. Looks to the outside, through into the cut through here. This switchback can always work out in your favour, and it looks like it does here as he runs a lovely exit, and through goes Wozczak on the exit of the cut through there, up to P number 5 for him once again. We talked about Dory and Delmont working together to try and catch up with Alan McCain. That's exactly what they have been doing. They are now within a second of Alan McCain, who's going to be looking in his rearview mirrors, can see the 2 next-gen cars chasing him down, and he'll be just thinking, how can he make his car as wide as possible over the next 5 laps to keep these 2 hunters at bay? George Stone is trying to get his way past McCluskey, who is making his way up the order again after falling down early doors. That's a lot of curbing there from Benji. George Stone runs a little bit deep in that one, and he is going to have Mark Hughes to his inside. Lights flashing from Dan Cross there, but they do go through the final turn, single file. A lot of Type 2 cars racing in this one, of course, especially in this fight. 5 cars, 3 of them are those teammates running along the front straight here as we head up towards turn number 1. Is it going to be to the inside from Stone? He was there, but he doesn't go for it, but Dan Cross does go for it to the inside of Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes turns it into an overtake attempt on George Stone, and somehow they all make it through that without any sort of issue. And I just don't know how they managed to do that. Right, we're going to have to go back to the leading fight here because it is now a 3-car fight for the race lead. And Alan McCain gets the curbing. It unsettles the car. He keeps it facing the right way, though. Dory trying that ultra-wide entrance again. He's done it a number of times. It's his preferred line. We ride on board with Adam Delmont chasing down Jamie Dory and Alan McCain. Dory moves to the right-hand side to try and take the lead in this one. Past McCain. Delmont moves to that inside as well. It looks like he's going to try and follow Dory through. They get onto the brakes for turn number 1. McCain trying to hold it on that wider line. He certainly does. It's going to give him the tighter line through 2, though. And here goes Jamie Dory and Adam Delmont. It's 3 wide for the race lead. Dory to the inside. Will hold on ahead of McCain. Delmont behind here. And somehow, once again, they come out on top, but and without issues. It is Jamie Dory to the front of the field here, ahead of Alan McCain. Adam Delmont sits in 3rd. Who is going to be able to take the race victory here? Delmont will be wanting to try and dispatch McCain as quickly as possible, as George Stone now receives a penalty in this race and will have to come down pit lane. Delmont's to the outside of McCain, up towards the Vidal chicane. It is very difficult to hold that outside line, but Delmont does it, and he keeps it smooth over the curbing as well. Adam Delmont moves into 2nd position. McCain into 3rd now. And Delmont will be looking back ahead of him. 0.6 of a second separate himself and the race lead as we go to 3 laps remaining. Benji McCluskey falls behind Mark Hughes here as Hughes up to 13th position in this fight that's been ongoing in the mid-pack, and that was a mistake there from Hughes, and McCluskey didn't need a second invitation. He went straight for it there to make that overtake and get that position done, and that's exactly what he did there. A great taking advantage. We look with Jack Pittas here chasing down Jonathan Berry, his teammate. And then we got Phil McDougall ahead in 7th position as Berry gets right onto the rear end of McDougall there. We ride on board with Pittas behind, and around goes Jonathan Berry through turn number 2. Up goes Pittas, and Wharton is only half a second away from Phil McDougall now. We'll have to have another look at that one for Jonathan Berry. It was just a bit too much curbing, a bit too close there to McDougall. And a loss of the rear end, and Berry recovers down in P number 12 in this one. Back towards the lead fight, though, because Delmont is now all over the rear of Jamie Dory as we head up towards the penultimate lap of Asking. We come through the final turn as McDougall and Wharton also fight side by side. That is now for 6th position for McDougall in that one, and he stays ahead, but McDougall goes around, just avoids the wall, but now Pittas comes to overtake, and Jack Pittas gets through. Back to the lead fight, though, because Delmont is to the inside of Dory, and Adam Delmont takes the lead now with 2 to go around Nurburgring in the final race of the day. Delmont won the first race, wasn't able to move through the field in race 2, has moved through the field in this one. In fact, Adam Delmont is the biggest mover and shaker in this race. Up 19 positions. 18 positions gained for Wozczek and Jack. 16 for Jamie and Ned. But 19 position gains as Jack gets past Ned Wharton. In fact, he now also moves up 19 positions, but only if he can hold this position. Fighting hard. He gets to the inside of Ned Wharton. He's going to be stuck on that outside line now. But it will give him the inside through Bilstein. And up into 6th goes Jack Pittas if he can keep Ned Wharton at bay for 1.5 more laps. Wharton, though, already looking to the inside as they head over to Ad Van Bogen. Through turn number 6 here and up towards the Vidal chicane. It'll be the outside for Ned Wharton. It'll be the inside for Jack Pittas. It doesn't. Honestly, I don't know who's going to come out of this one ahead because it's been beneficial either way, and it is going to be Ned Wharton who comes out on top as we go on to the final lap of asking. Jamie Dory is on the outside of Adam Delmont here through turn number 1. It switches across into turn 2. Delmont's going to have the power down earlier through the exit of 2. It'll give him the inside through the cut through here. Dory trying to give him as a little room as possible on the inside. Just a small nudge there as we go through the cut through. Dory has to drop behind for now, but we'll try to make a move up towards the Vidal chicane into Ravenlow curve here of turn 4. It's a slightly wider line from Delmont there into Bilstein curve. It's all about the speed on the exit here. Dory will be getting the toe as well. A little bit of gravel from Delmont. That's going to slow him down just a touch. Dory, is he going to go for the inside or the outside? Up towards Vidal chicane. He goes to the inside. It's going to be side by side for the race lead on the white flag lap. Earlier braking from Dory there. Delmont goes deep. They're still side by side. Will they touch? No, they won't. Dory holds it on the outside, but it is going to be the inside line for Adam Delmont, and Alan McCain is just behind this, hoping something goes wrong between these two. But it is going to be a drag race to the line. Jamie Dory has the speed over Delmont, and Jamie Dory will win race number 3. Adam Delmont comes home in second, and Alan McCain is penalised across the line, which means Carl Thompson will take your podium ahead of Wozniak in 5th. Still fights behind, and that's Ben Oucher going around, and that's Ned Wharton going around at the final turn on this race, and Phil McDougall takes 6th. As it's absolute carnage through the final turn, as drivers were going for any position they possibly could. We'll have another catch-up on that little contact at the end there. But what a way to end the race, and Jamie Dory takes victory by 88 hundredths of a second. Right then, what happened to Ben Oucher in this fight with Ned Wharton? It's the 28 there of Jack Pittas in the middle. Pittas to the inside of Wharton, and there's just that little nudge there, and then Oucher is caught by McDougall behind, and it is Pittas and McDougall who come out unscathed. Oucher losing a number of positions at the end there, but we'll watch this little race to the line once more, because this was a drag race to the timing line between Adam Delmont and Jamie Dory. And as they came across the line, it was 0.088 of a second there across the timing line there. Some absolute fantastic racing towards the end of that one. What a result that was. Let's have a little look then at our race results at the end of the 3rd race of asking here. And it was Jamie Dory who came across the line in the end ahead of Adam Delmont. Carl Thompson was promoted into a podium with Alan McCain's penalty. Wozniak came home in 4th position in the end ahead of Phil McDougall. And Jack Pittas came home in 5th. In 6th. 7th was Ned Wharton ahead of Joshua Downing. Benji McCluskey at the end of the day managed to recover to 9th position, which is only 4 positions off of his racing start, which I don't think is too bad with the fact that he was facing the wrong way on lap number 1. Jonathan Berry in the end rounded out your top 10. Ben Oucher came home in 11th position in the end ahead of Mark Hughes, and it was Robert Savage in 13th. 14th position was for Dan Cross ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir. Adrian Ruiz Hernandez came home in 16th ahead of Jack Brown and Alan McCain. In the end, with that penalty, came home in 18th position. Matt Gatter came home in 19th ahead of Sam Bradley, who finished a lap down. Jono Watkins also a lap down in that one. George Stone out of the race 3 laps before the end. Mark Sykes out with 6 laps to go. And Sammy Weber, Fraser Rostons both out 12 laps before the end of this race. What an amazing evening of racing it has been, though. And before we finish off, we are going to quickly grab a few drivers in to have a word with them, because that was some absolutely fantastic racing. That is for certain. Let's get a few replays up then. so we can have a chat with some of our drivers, and we will talk to a man who won race number 1. He came home second in that one as Adam. Sorry, I think I pulled you off in the middle of a conversation there, haven't I? Adam, you came home in the end in second in that one. A great fight with Jamie. It's been a great evening of racing. Talk us through that last one.
It's been a good night, mate. Obviously, a little bit more relaxed tonight. It's just a bit of a one-off, but came to grips with the car pretty quickly. So enjoyed that. I think the racing was really good. First race was a little bit handed to me, but then I had to work to keep it. Race 2 made a really nice, just steady progression up through the field, and got a nice top 6, I think, top 7, around there somewhere. And then obviously fighting for a winning race 3. I had a really good battle with Jamie. Really enjoyed that. I just cooked the chicane a little bit, and it just allowed him to just get a little bit of an edge on me. But it was good fun.
It was a great fight all evening. You say the race 1 victory came your way, but you did have to hold on to it. And you ended up gaining 18 positions in that last race of the day as well to fight for the win, and it was a great fight. So some great evenings racing, Adam. And as always, no matter what car you seem to jump in, you've shown the pace out there.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much.
All right, Adam Delmont there coming home in P number 2 in that final race of the day. And we will, of course, talk to our race 3 winner, and hopefully he's not in the middle of a conversation. Jamie here, coming home for a win in the last race there. It was a great fight with Adam. What an amazing evening's worth of racing.
Yeah, you can't really squabble about that, being a non-league event and just a thrown together race. I would say that's a bit of a success and looked quite good, to be honest.
Talk us through your battle there with Adam in the final race. It was you were holding it at the start of it when you caught up to Alan. You got through, but then Adam made his way past. It was a fight all the way, literally, to the line.
Yeah, so me and Adam were obviously in the same voice chat there, and me and Adam will either race really well together, or we both end up in a hospital bed. So we decided to work together to catch up to Alan, and then from there it was like, are we still working together? And it was a clear no. So it was gloves off and try and make it look good for the stream and see what happens.
Well, you certainly did make it look good for the stream. A great battle, as you say, a non-league event today, but I think this shows how great these cars are anyway, and some great racing.
Yeah, to be honest, not speaking too early, but I think going forth, obviously, I think these cars provide such a good watch and also racing, and what I'm hearing is 100% positive feedback. So it's something maybe to look out for in the future.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Jamie. I'll let you get back to it, and well done on the race 3 victory.
Thanks, Joseph.
Jamie Dory there, coming home to win the final race of the day. And what an amazing evening worth of racing it has been. It has been fights all the time, and it has been literally fights to the timing line with our drivers there, with 17 laps on the board for our drivers. They really did have to fight it out, and that's exactly what happened as we just watched the last lap of the race once more here. As it was a great race between Adam Delmont and Jamie Dorr in the final race of the day, but of course there were some great races in all 3 of them here. If you're watching over on the Facebook, make sure that you have followed the page, you've subscribed over on the YouTube, you've hit the follow on the Twitch as well, so you don't miss any of these wonderful events. And of course we will have next Tuesday the next round of the NXTCCs on the Next Gen pages as well, so make sure you join us for that one. But what an amazing evening's worth of racing in these Toyota GR86s, and as Jamie Dury was saying there, showing the possibility of these vehicles and how great they are. So just keeping an eye out in the Next Gen pages for the possibilities of a potential series with these machines taking to the track. As we just watched this last lap fight, it was a side-by-side battle between Adam Delmont and Jamie Dury that came to the wire, separated by just a tenth of a second, giving just enough room in their fight there as they came around and up to the final corner. Alan McCain almost getting himself involved there. I'm not too sure. I think he got a slowdown through the chicane that he's serving it there. He just didn't serve it quick enough that he ended up getting a penalty at the end of that one. But what a race it was. As it has been, again, all three races here, it's been absolutely fantastic. So from here at Next Gen Racing and from Joseph Wright Broadcasting, we hope you have enjoyed your evening's worth of events, because it has been a great evening's worth of events around the Nurburgring circuit in these Toyota GR86s. Now, of course, we'll be back to regular scheduled programming with championship events returning next Tuesday, so make sure that you are getting around to watch that one, being brought to you by Paul Walsh Productions, of course, so make sure you're not missing that one next Tuesday. And as I said, make sure that you're hitting all of the follows and subscribes and everything you can everywhere, whether it's over on Next Gen, whether it's on the unofficial page over on Twitch as well, where you can then see all of the broadcasts that happen over on Joseph Wright Broadcasting. Then make sure you're heading over to the Twitch page to follow us there as well. But from here this evening then, I hope you have had a fantastic evening, as I have. I've enjoyed watching these Toyotas head around the circuit. So some absolutely great fights all the way through. Thank you so much for watching here then at Next Gen Racing, and we will see you in the next event. And so until next time, goodbye.